Greetings, welcome to another Parkinson's Walks. If you're tuning in here for the film that's advertised, the Nailsworth Junction, then jump forward about 20 minutes and you'll find it there. The rest of us are going to indulge in matters arising from the last two films. Get your take on what we saw. So, without any more ado, let's get stuck into it. Right, the first comment that we got comes from our Trev, who shoots himself in the foot here, I reckon. I don't know, but anyway, he says his shoulders has shown a real improvement, and with the physio I'm doing, it's going from strength to strength. Glad to hear that, Trev. Lovely. That was the fear of having an operation, I think, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think probably so. I'll try to see what I have on the screen, because it's got lots of reflections, that'll do. Right. Now Trev says, it wasn't me who buzzed you at the start of Matters Arising today, but whoever pilot it was perfect timing. Right, so just as we started our last vlog, somebody who we're blaming Trev came over in an aeroplane and made a nuisance of himself. And Trev said it wasn't me, but he didn't know when I set this up when I'm filming it, so how does he know it wasn't him? Ah, see, there you go. Anyway, the Nailsworth branch is a nice walk, he says. The branch left the Midland main line between Birmingham and Bristol at Stonehouse. That's the next film coming up. And then Trev, he's right in a minute. Ooh, calm it down. And Trev then goes on to explain all about that route and the various happenings and not happenings with it. It's a terrific read, as per you. Actually, you don't need me to tell you about Trev stuff, do you? I hope that most of you, if not all of you, go back now and again and read the comments. He puts a lot of work into it. Pete Payne. I used to live near the Edbury line, he said, from Watford to Rickmansworth, which opened in 1862. Not much left now, I know, I wouldn't expect to, I suppose. Not much left now, but the odd thing can be found. Hidden in the bushes is the flattened remains of a plate layer's hut. Oh wow. Just a few bricks and slates, and one very nice blue engineering angled windowsill brick. Now residing in Pitstone, which strangely enough is where Pete resides, so put two and two together. Jem said, I always appreciate a video from you. I'm very unwell right now. Sorry to hear that, Jem. Buck up. And your soothing voice is helping me feel less scared. Doesn't sound too happy, does it, though? Whatever it is, Jem, we hope it gets better soon. Donny, exploring the byways of Nailsworth and uncovering hidden treasures is a fab way to spend a day when you have the eyes to see. Wonderful structures hiding in plain sight and taken for granted by the many. Isn't it true? We've all done it. You just wander along, you don't stop to look side to side and see what's there. Yes, very true, Donny. Malcolm. This is Malcolm Richardson. What a great walk, he says. Excuse me. I don't remember there being an accessible trackbed when I walked from Stroud to Nailsworth several times in the 1980s. Wow. Presumably the heavy engineering was necessitated by the line's industrial usage. Didn't think of that. Yes, of course, with the heavyweight stuff it was carting up and down, you'd need some pretty big structures, wouldn't you? Marilyn, all the way from Cheshire. Our family virtual older sister. How you doing, Marilyn? She says we cycled that route as it's fairly flat compared to some lines. Sadly, I definitely failed to notice that beautiful iron bridge no longer in use. I was probably out of breath. Yeah, I expect your husband got to hear all about that when you called him up. Oh dear. So I haven't been anywhere this week. It's just too hot. This was of course a couple of weeks ago now. I know just how she feels. we're 2/3 the way through our railway closure, which is 3 weeks long. Another week to go then. It reopens Saturday week. I wish I could say the same about the roadworks. Oh dear. Oops. Once again, thanks for the memories and stay safe. Thank you, Marilyn. Again, Marilyn adds a lot more than I have time to read out here. Well worth a look. Well done, Marilyn. Abandoned railways. Ron, up there in the Cotswolds. Another jewel from the archives, he says. I do enjoy the walks around that area of the Cotswolds. There's so much of our industrial heritage on show. Nice to see the buildings being repurposed too. I'm slightly grounded at the moment with sciatica. Not what you want for charging up and down embankments and into cuttings, then, Ron. Is it really? Quite a painful problem, I think, isn't it, sciatica? Yeah. Well, you should get. Hope you get better soon. I got there in the end, almost. Right, Somerset walking, Darren. Great to hear all the great comments from the Parkinsons Walks family. Yeah, that's what makes this. It doesn't do with me. It's you lot. Great stuff, he says. As for the video, it never ceases to amaze me how much skilled craftsmanship went into the infrastructure, be it just an underpass or a farmer's access or a grand viaduct. Just superb. So much pride in their art. Isn't that true? Isn't that just true? Right, I'll have to hang on to this lot today because it's going to blow off otherwise. One moment please while operator changes reels. Remember that? No, no. West Country Wanderings, Paul. It says, lovely to hear from the Parkinson Walks family. There's great sound on your Nailsworth branch video. That's good. I didn't notice that, but that's good. I've never covered it on my channel. Well, I'm blowed. If you know Paul and you visit his site often, he goes everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. But we caught him on that one. Well done. Yeah, I've walked and cycled it a few times, going back to when it was opened as a cycle track in the 1980s. It's always been put off by the noise of the parallel A46. Yeah, curse of the filmmaker, I'm afraid. Jim Nichols, New Zealand. I agree with your assessment of those two bridges. The old one was definitely better. He says, that church tower looked quite unusual. Maybe worth a visit sometime. Yeah. Filming churches, of course, could be very useful, couldn't it, for films to show that are accessible. Good thought there, Jim. David, Spain. He says, as always, some interesting comments. I don't think I've ever been to a pick your own apples orchard. Now, this was Charles from New Jersey, USA, who seen these apples, which are thinning out now quite well. It reminded him of when his children were younger and he used to go to a pick your own apple orchard. Yeah, we have pick your own strawberries and berries and goodness knows what, but I don't think I've heard of apple. Perhaps we will start it going. Yes, so we were on apples, weren't we? What a line this was. It's good to see the various station and mill buildings being used, even if it is just for housing. Yeah, sure, why not? David always keeps us abreast of what's going on over there in Spain, and he says no sign of the heat abating, in fact quite the worst. David was saying he's had 6 weeks of above 30-degree temperatures. 2 days were enough for me. Unfortunately, he says the top of the news is on combating the forest fires, which are breaking out almost everywhere. Let's blow my camera over. We're okay in our part of the world though, he says. Well, last day of work today, then a couple of weeks off, which brings us round to September. Oh, blimey, David. It's racing along a bit, isn't it? Coming up to September. It's true. Right. Sumac. Sumac is the channel mascot. She is taken care of by James in Canada, Toronto, apparently, but we suspect it might be the other way around. And Sumac sends us posts now and again. Here's one by Ron. James is still licking his wounds from having what he says was his most amusing post ever lost by YouTube. Well, of course, it would have been the best ever, wouldn't it? If it got lost. Sumac says, between you and me, it wasn't anything to write home about. Well, I won't tell him that. he has one more week of holidays and he's got a bit of an edge to him. Not quite sure why. James is a school teacher, and so he's had his 6 weeks off. Now he's got to get back to it. Right, nose to the grindstone, James. Get to it. Anyway, she says, I've been doing a lot of swimming and rock diving, for which I get yelled at with something along the lines of, hey, drop that rock, I'm not paying for chip teeth as well. Yeah, you go on to the YouTube and then put in sumac, and James actually uploaded some film there. A bit rare for James, but he's uploaded some. His Highness wrung the last breath out of his old phone today. His Highness. He's dropped it a few hundred times over the years, with no protective case, of course. No, well, you'd have to pay for that, wouldn't you? I mean, James isn't going to do that. His computing prowess has been stretched to the limit, I bet. Trying to transfer all his old files to the new one. Oh my God. I'd go and hide somewhere if I used to, Max. I expect there's a fair bit of muttering going on. Good old James. Pete Payne. Good morning, he says. I would like to thank the others. Wait a minute, I got that right. Don't go away, folks. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Right. Next film. Merristock Tunnel. I was a bit taken aback by this, because I did struggle on that walk up a very steep embankment, and it gave me some troubles which I shared with you when I got to the top, which was a bit silly of me really, but so many of you guys have commented and asked me to dial it back and shown concern and what have you, and I really felt touched by that. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm afraid I have to learn that Parkinson's is going to win in the end, and it's no good me trying to fight it too much and causing myself other injuries. So I will take care, as you recommend. I've deleted quite a few of the kind remarks, because we're going to be here all day otherwise. I've left a few in for flavour, but thank you so much to everybody that showed concern. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Right, Pete Payne. I would agree with the others, he says, and thank you for all your efforts in bringing us your weekly content. Like many others, it's the first thing I think about on a Friday morning. Ever since I discovered your channel for the last few years, I don't think I've missed even one. Oh no. Jem again. Jem wasn't feeling very well. He said, I'm still pretty unwell, but always look forward to your videos. Jem, you're welcome. Come and join us. West Country Wandering. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Ron. Glad to see you still out and about. Yeah, I do get out when I can. Take it steady though. Andrew Merriman. Our Andrew. Andrew used to contribute on a weekly basis to this channel years ago, and he's gone to the retired home for ex-commenters, I think it was. Something like that, wasn't it, Andrew? Yeah, lovely fellow and so knowledgeable. I think he used to be a signals inspector in the day, and so he knows stuff, and he puts a nitty-gritty detail down here, which is brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. He says a very interesting video. I'll give you a flavour here. The bridge at 7 minutes 47 carried a standard gauge connection, sighted 528 yards on the Serres Junction side of the 242 yard long Merristock Tunnel. These went over the tunnel via 5 sidings to Crump Meadow Colliery via an elaborate track layout. You can see the sort of detail that Andrew goes to. It's absolutely brilliant, really. It really is. You can see it in your mind all laid out, especially if you've been down there and had a look around. Brilliant. Thank you, Andrew. Malcolm Richardson. Great video, he says, of what one day could form part of a marvellous forest route for walking and cycleways, not least under that very busy main road. Yeah, That literally is a killer, that main road. I wonder what progress is being made with attempts by the Nailsworth Tunnel Society and others to reopen the tunnel. This rears its ugly head quite frequently, but it's going to go nowhere because there isn't the money. I mean, that's the bottom line, no money. Yeah. Lionel and Mary travels. I'm surprised, he says, that Pauline lets you out on your own in case of anything untoward happens. I've been banned from doing it, my exploratory walks on my own. I'll have to find a way to get around that, he says. Oh dear, so Mary has banned you, has she, Lionel? You've been grounded, mate. He said, I'll have to find a way around that, or else there won't be many more videos. Oh, very true. Very true. Right, Marilyn, 1 week on from when we last spoke to her. We got our trains back today, she says, after a 3-week closure between Stockport and Stoke-on-Trent. And I intended to go somewhere but didn't quite make it after a bad night. So maybe tomorrow. Yeah, Marilyn's suffering from MS. And it's a very similar disease to Parkinson's in lots of ways. And she's powering through it whenever she can. Good girl. She says, I can't get into trouble at the moment as my daughters are away. Oh dear, so she's been confined to camp by the daughters. Hard luck. Oh dear. It's hard to imagine that the mirror stop was last in use in the 1960s. That's 4 years before I came to Gloucestershire, and it's in good condition and still showing blacking from the smoke. It amazes me always in these tunnels, and to a certain extent the bridges along the way, how the soot thrown up there by the engine as it went past is still there now after all these years. Amazing, absolutely amazing. She said it's quite a big tunnel, height-wise, compared to some, and must have cost quite a lot to build. She said, that's all for today. Take care, sliding down those cuttings. Bye for now. Sliding down, I didn't mind, it was the falling bit that got me. Engage on a shelf. That mask on your wall, he says, we got one of them. I bought it in the Gambia for my wife, but she refuses to wear it. Dangerous, Simon, dangerous. Somerset man walking. Oh, Darren. Fantastic reward for you at the end of this one. I did chuckle when you said the tunnel being 200 years old or so, and then mentioning that you're probably safe for another 10 minutes. Oh yeah, true. Trev. Hi Ron, thank you for a lovely walk through the Forest of Dean, one of my most favourite places on earth. It is gorgeous down there. I'm so glad you made it to the tunnel, and I truly admire your determination and tenacity despite your struggles with Parkinson's. The tunnel portal is indeed a challenge to get down to. Well, I'm glad somebody like Trev struggled with it, not just me. I thought it was pretty difficult, but then Trev goes on to describe more detail in that area and how he got down to it, which isn't available in the summer because there's too much overgrowth. So yeah, I felt better about that. So again, another one of Trev's to go and read. Right, last page. Will the camera hold out? It might just. I doubt it. Charles from UFA, New Jersey. I believe persistent is an appropriate word, and I congratulate you for your tremendous effort. Very kind of you, Charles, thank you. However, I think I speak for the whole Parkinsons Walk family when I mention that you did a good job raising our curious but concerned level. Yes, Charles then goes on to talk about that type of situation, and it's another nice comforting family read, I thought. Thanks for that one, Charles. Jim Nichols from New Zealand. You describe your channel as home to the adventurous subscriber, but it looks to me that you're the adventurous one. The scenery on that walk was magnificent, and that forest is a real treasure. But no more mountain climbing if you don't want to stop worrying us all. No more mountaineering. I have to say it was a watershed moment getting out of that thing, and there was once or twice when I thought maybe I wasn't going to get out. Anyway, we made it. Abandoned railways are run. A gallant effort to reach the tunnel portal, well done. A lovely explorer in the forest, but it's like a maze to me, he says. How do you keep track of where you are? Well, I've been going down the forest for many years, so I kind of know where I am and know the direction to get out, but yeah, I can understand when you're walking amongst the trees, of course they all look alike, don't they? Yeah. But, Ron goes on, a quick update from me. I'm back with Cheltenham Oncology and back on chemo. Well, Ron and his wife have had a rough time with us. This time, however, it's in tablet form and self-administered as a systematic whole-body cancer therapy. I've also been advised that all the treatments so far have affected my bone density, so I must be very wary of falls. No more plunging into cuttings for me. Just explore with great care. Keep safe. So we didn't beat the technology after all then. Oh well, we tried. Right. Morning Ron, I admire your persistence. You did really well to get to the tunnel and to magically unlock the gate. Yeah, this is David from Spain. And yes, like Trevor and I had the same experience. You rattle the gate and it's obviously locked and you can actually see the locks on the inside. No way of getting in there. And then while you're muttering and complaining and looking about, you lean on the lower gate and it opens. So it was open after all, which is good for Trev because he advised me to go down there, so had it been locked fully and not gained access, Trev, you'd have been in the doghouse even worse than you usually are. Right, okay. David filled us in on the weather down in Spain, where he's going back a while and he had 6 weeks of above 30 degrees. Gee whiz. I think I might have mentioned that for a little bit before, didn't I? Never mind. It says very hazy here. It's due in part to the forest fires that are still burning. The weatherman says rain is on the way. Let's hope it falls in the right places. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Michael brings up the rear guard. Michael from Poland. Good old Michael. Michael says, none of us are getting any younger, and most of us are carrying some sort of ailment. That's true. So no more Superman, please. I'll do my best, Michael. The tunnel was very exciting, superb engineering, and as you said, a few cracks. But what do you expect after standing there for 200 years? Yes, very true. Right, so in a few moments' time, we'll have the archive film, which is where the Nailsworth branch, which we walked a few weeks ago, joined the main line. Go down there. It's quite a major junction, so I'm hoping to find something down there, something at least. Anyway, we'll go and have a look at that. And then next week after that is Frampton Mansell. We've been in this area before, following the Thames and Severn Canal and looking at the glorious railway arches. But I had a secret message to say that a little bit farther on, just a little bit farther on, was a magnificent structure, viaduct. And so I set out to have a look. And I think you'll see why at the time the contributor didn't give his name. I wonder why. You'll find out in a minute. Anyway, I'll see you there then next week. Don't be late. Just a quick video of this one, I would think. We followed this old branch line here that went to Nailsworth and went up this beautiful wooded valley. Filmed that in a previous film. This bit here has been built over, that's now a main road. I'm just wondering, the link with the main line there. It shows 2 stations, one on the main line and one on our branch line. I wonder if there's anything there worth a look. This was the junction with the main line in 1932. Now, got to be something left, isn't there? Perhaps we shouldn't get our hopes up too high. This is the station in 1961, having closed to passenger traffic in 1947. The line continued as a freight line up until the 1960s, having begun its life full of hope and glory in 1866. Well, that's a stroke of luck. Just in Stonehouse now, and there's our railway coming from the main line, from the station, and travelling down there. You are here. Good. Right, well that looks like railway engineering to me. the overbridge. Let's have a look. It looks more like a canal than a railway to me. Let's go back and have a quick look at the notice board. No, it is a railway. It does actually show some water there, look. Okay, well that's that done then. We'll carry on up here. We're still skirting the new estates on this route. It's all built up around here now. Down there is our railway then. In a cutting at this stage, heading for the station. You'd have to say without the information board you'd take that as being a canal, not a railway. Pleasant enough walk. At this point it's starting to get filled in. So we may have reached the end of the trail here. Yeah, someone's private garden. End of the track. The inevitable new estate. So probably wiped out all traces. Looks like it might have gone through about there, looking for evidence. There's a bit of a rail there, look. No idea where it came from, mine. It leads to here, which leads to that. There we go. Now we know where we are. Bit overgrown. Lovely newel posts here, look. On the landing, as it were. Gorgeous. A lovely brickwork down there. Wow. Look how well that's built and beautiful. Lovely cast columns here, look. Well, it's seen better days. There are actually some original rails in place there, look. Amazing. And I'm going to suggest that the turnout just to there is leading to our branch line. And the rationale is, looking back the other way from the bridge, there's our railway. So it would come and it would join just behind us. Wow. Looking at the photograph, trying to make some sense out of it then. That I reckon is the goods or what area. I think that tall tower is probably about where the signal box was, which is kind of incredible really. And then you've got these rails going up here. So I think there's a pretty good chance that that photograph was taken from this footbridge. Amazing, huh? There's our branch line, look, going left. You've got the goods yards in the centre. As you can see the loading gauge there just in front of the signal box. And beyond the signal box you've got the main line to Bristol coming from Gloucester. And maybe a building between the two. Don't know if I can film it. And that's our branch line then, heading under the bridge we're on. Then coming out here, disappearing into there. if you stand approximately where it looks like the photograph was taken from, of course you lose your view. And standing right to one side, there's our railway. There's no railway over there. I think the railway is actually towards the houses there in that derelict spot. But I think most of the residents here have adopted the railway line, if you like. Made it part of their garden, and why not? Having walked to the far end of the goods yard, then we have that. If that's not railway, I shall eat my hat. I would say without a shadow of a doubt that's the mainline station building, which was connected to our station over there by a long walkway apparently. I don't think we can get on the other side of it. Here's a giveaway, look. Blue engineering brick. A bit of quick research, and apparently this is the station master's house. It's rather grand, don't you think? Here's the proof if you need it. Right by the main line. Well, that's the main line station. Regrettably ours disappeared some time ago and is now buried in that lot. This will be the entrance to the goods yard. The clues are all here. So that was the yard, or whatever, the complex you can see in the photograph, between the two sets of rail. Main line is there, our branch line running up there. The footbridge is about there. Good, well, success then. Brilliant. I guess by now you know what to do. Subscribe, click the bell, like or share. Thank you very much. Catch you on the next one.